Mornings at my son's house always start the same way. I wake up at 5:30, an old habit I can't seem to break. I get dressed quietly in the dark, trying not to make any noise. I've been doing this for years. The goal is to be helpful but not noticed. My room is at the end of the hall. It used to be a guest room, but for the last 3 years it's been mine. Well, kinda mine. Hayden reminds me often that it's his house, bought with the money from the sale of my house. Mom, you know your house would only cover the down payment, right? The rest is my mortgage. I just nod and smile. I don't remind him that I gave him 80% of the money, not just for the down payment. Why bother? The truth is in the signed documents he forgot about, but I kept. The kitchen is quiet and dark. I turn on the small light above the counter. It shouldn't wake anyone. I've learned to move silently, like a shadow. I get out the coffee grinder, wrap it in a towel to quiet the sound, and grind coffee for the whole family. Hayden likes it fresh, but he doesn't want to do it himself.
His wife, Taran, acts like the coffee and the clean clothes just magically appear. By 6:30, the table is set.
Scrambled eggs and bacon for Hayden. Avocado toast for Taran. Cereal for the grandkids, Min and Elliot. I don't eat in the morning. Coffee is enough for me. At 7, the day starts. Hayden comes down first, dressed for work. He shakes his head at the scrambled eggs. So much butter again, Mom. He says it in a way that makes me feel like I'm a child who can't understand something simple. You know, I need to watch my cholesterol. I apologize, even though I know it's the right amount of butter, and he only mentions cholesterol when he wants to blame me. He eats fried potatoes and steak in the evenings without a second thought. Taran comes in next, in her workout clothes, always on her phone. She's a purchasing specialist and always seems to be working. She walks past me like I'm invisible, takes her toast, and thanks her husband for breakfast. It's part of their morning routine, pretending that no one does anything but them. Where are the kids? Hayden asks, looking at the clock. Elliot's on the computer again, Taran answers, still on her phone. And Min is still asleep. He doesn't have class until this afternoon. I go up to Elliot's room. I knock, but no one answers. I open the door to see my grandson with his headphones on, lost in a game. He's 17 and has no self-control. I tap his shoulder.
He jumps and takes off his headphones, annoyed. What?
Breakfast is ready, honey, and it's time to get ready for school. I'm not hungry. He puts his headphones back on, ignoring me. I stand there for a moment, but he doesn't even see me. I go back to the kitchen. Elliot's not coming to breakfast, I tell my son. Hayden sighs, but doesn't do anything. Let him go hungry, he says, picking up his work bag. At his age, I would never skip breakfast. Taran and I have spoiled them. Taran acts like she doesn't hear. Hayden kisses her goodbye and leaves for work. Taran finishes her coffee and gets ready to leave, too. Min asked me to wake him up at 10 o'clock, she says. And we'll be late tonight because of a company event. You'll have dinner without us. I nod. I'm alone again with an empty kitchen and dirty dishes. I become completely invisible when the door closes. During the day, I do laundry, iron, cook dinner and clean. Min wakes up around 11, doesn't want breakfast, grabs an apple and leaves for class. Elliot gets home from school at 3, drops his backpack in the hall and locks himself in his room. I pick up the backpack, hang it up, and take a plate of sandwiches and juice to my grandson's room. An hour later, I find the untouched food outside his door. I used to be a court reporter. For 25 years, I listened to and wrote down other people's stories, their good times and bad. I was an important part of the legal system. Judges and lawyers respected me. My notes helped decide cases. Now I'm a housekeeper without pay, an invisible grandmother, a mother tolerated because I'm here. After my husband, Roger, died, I sold our house. I was 62, and Hayden said I couldn't live alone. Move in with us, Mom. Why do you need a whole house? We'll add a room for you. You'll see your grandchildren every day. It sounded so good. My only son, his family, being close to my grandchildren. I said yes without thinking. For 3 years, my life has been about taking care of a family that doesn't even notice. By 6 o'clock, I'm setting the table. It's just me and the grandkids tonight. Elliot comes down reluctantly, checking his phone. Min is the last to arrive, his hair wet from the shower. Grandma, why is it stew again? Elliot says, annoyed. We had it last week. Your dad likes stew, I say. And it's healthier than the pizza you order when I'm not here. Min smiles, filling his plate. Leave him alone, Elliot. He's 3 years older and thinks he knows everything. Shut up, Elliot snaps back. You used to complain about broccoli until last year. That's not true, Min smiles. I've always loved vegetables, especially when Grandma makes them. I know he's just trying to be nice. Min wants me to check his essay. He's in college and still doesn't know how to use commas. Grandma, will you look at my paper on Faulkner? Of course, dear, I agree. After dinner, Elliot picks at his food and keeps looking at his phone. What about you, Elliot? How's school? I ask, trying to talk to him. Fine, he says. Mrs. Butt complained to your mom about your behavior in history class, I remind him. She's just a grumpy old lady who doesn't understand anything. He puts down his fork. Who cares about the dates of the Civil War? I have the internet.
It's
not about the dates. It's about understanding. I say history teaches us. Oh God, don't start, Elliot says, rolling his eyes. You're like a broken record. Who needs it? Your grandmother's right, Min says suddenly. College will be hard without the basics. Who says I'm going to college? Elliot looks at his brother. Maybe I'll be a blogger or a professional gambler. They don't need degrees. Yeah, right, Min says. And you'll probably live with your parents forever. At least I won't be living with my son when I'm old, Elliot snaps. Glancing at me, the room goes quiet. I feel my face get hot. Min looks embarrassed. Elliot, you're overreacting, he says quietly. Why? Elliot gets even more upset. It's true, isn't it? She sold her house, moved in on us, and now Dad has to take care of her. And she's always giving advice, telling us how to live our lives, criticizing us. I'm not criticizing, I say. I'm just taking care of you. And I didn't move in on you. Your dad asked me to. Yeah, right. And you eavesdrop on our conversations and tell my parents spying on me. That's not true. My voice shakes. I've never... Stop lying. Elliot jumps up from his chair. You told my mom about Josh's party. You're the reason they wouldn't let me go. Your mom asked me if I knew about the party, I explain. I can't lie to her. See? Elliot says to his brother. She's ruining everything. She's pretending to be a poor old lady, and all she does is meddle in our lives. Elliot, calm down, Min says. Grandma doesn't deserve this. Shut up, Elliot yells. You're her favorite because you let her snoop around in your business, and I don't want that. We don't have room for you. He turns to me, his eyes full of anger. Get out. There's complete silence. Min stares at his brother. Elliot looks shocked at what he said. I feel strangely relieved, like someone finally said what everyone's been thinking. I smile and look at my grandson. You shouldn't have said that, Elliot, I say calmly. I'm the only one in this house who really sees you. My words, without anger, just regret, seem to affect him more than if I had yelled. He blinks, opens his mouth, but can't say anything. You think I'm a burden on your family? I continue. But the truth is, I was tricked into coming here. Your father wanted my money, and in return I got a tiny room and constant complaints. Grandma... Min starts, but I stop him. No, dear, let your brother hear. Maybe he should know that the money from my house went to pay for the addition to this one, the new kitchen your mother wanted, your car, Min and Elliot's gaming computers. I gave almost everything I had to this family, and what did I get? The ability to be invisible in my own home. Elliot stands there, confused. But it's not going to be like this anymore. I get up from the table. Thank you, Elliot. You finally said what I've been wanting to hear for a long time. I walk out of the dining room, leaving my grandchildren stunned. I already have a plan. In my head, a plan that started a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage to do it. Now I do. The next morning, I wake up feeling lighter than I have in years. I get up at 5:30, but instead of going to the kitchen, I sit by the window and watch the sunrise. The sky is turning pink. I can't remember the last time I just sat and watched the sunrise. Probably when Roger was alive, before I moved into this house and became a free servant. Elliot's words last night were the final push. But I'd been thinking about leaving for a while. I just needed the strength to do it. I take out a small notebook from under the mattress. Roger gave it to me for our anniversary. Write your dreams in here, he said. But instead, it became a place for important information, bills, passwords, contacts, and notes, including information about the money I hadn't given Hayden. When I sold the house, my son said I should put all the money in his account. It'll be easier to manage the money that way. I know what to do, Mom. I agreed, but not completely. I put $20,000 into a separate account that I didn't tell him about. I didn't distrust Hayden, but my job as a court reporter taught me one thing: always have a backup plan. Too many stories of people losing everything because they trusted the wrong people. That money was my safety net, though not as big as I wanted it to be. I could live on it for 6 months if I was careful. Now it would be the start of my new life, but first I needed a plan. I take out a piece of paper and start writing. First, housing. I need a cheap apartment in a quiet neighborhood, close to public transportation. Ideally on the first floor, so I don't have to worry about stairs when my knees get bad. Second, a job. At 65, it's hard to find a job, but I can still type fast. Maybe some part-time office work or typing from home. Third, information gathering. In the 3 years I lived at my son's house, I learned a lot about his job. Hayden is a quality control inspector for a drug company.
He didn't hide much from me.
Who pays attention to an old lady sitting in the corner knitting while he talks on the phone? I learned that Hayden was ignoring problems with the production process in exchange for favors. Nothing illegal, but bad enough to ruin his career if it came out. Especially since I had copies of some papers he left on the kitchen table. I scanned them with my phone, like a habit from my old job. I don't want to blackmail my son or ruin his career. But this information could protect me if he tries to make it hard for me to leave, with my plan done. I go downstairs and make breakfast. For the family as usual. Taran comes down first, takes her toast and coffee without looking at me. Hayden's not eating breakfast at home today, she says. He has an early meeting. I nod and put away the extra plate. Taran stops, as if remembering something. By the way, Elliot was upset yesterday, said you two had a fight. We didn't fight, I say calmly. He said what he thought, and I said what I thought. He says you were very harsh. Taran finally looks at me, narrowing her eyes. You know, at his age, adults need to be patient. I feel angry, but I hold it back. Elliot told me I need to leave your house, I say calmly. I was just explaining that I've given more to this house than he realizes. Taran frowns. We all appreciate your help, but please don't interfere with the children's upbringing. Hayden and I are doing fine on our own. She leaves, leaving me alone with the toast and the feeling that I'm doing the right thing. After breakfast, I call Felicity, an old friend from the courthouse. She used to be a bailiff, but now she's a real estate agent. We haven't seen each other since I moved in with Hayden. He didn't want me seeing my friends, always finding reasons for me to stay home. Winnie. Felicity sounds happy. How are you? Not so good, Fel, I say. I need your help and advice. What's wrong? She sounds worried. I want to move out of my son's house. I need to find a cheap apartment. She pauses. I understand, Felicity says. Let's meet. I have time between 2 and 3 today. Can you come to my office? I agree, wondering how to leave the house without being seen. But then I remember that I'm an adult, not a teenager sneaking out on a date. I don't need to explain my actions to my son. At 1:30, I leave the house and go to the bus stop. The ride takes about 20 minutes. The real estate office is downtown. Felicity meets me in the lobby. She hasn't changed much. The same red hair, the same brown eyes, the same freckles. We hug and I feel tears in my eyes. I didn't realize how much I missed human contact. Come on, Felicity says. I have coffee and cookies, and you can tell me everything. Her office is cozy and professional. We sit on a sofa by the window looking at the park. I tell her about moving in with Hayden, becoming a free maid, and the argument with Elliot. "Damn it, Winnie," Felicity says. "Why did you put up with it for so long? Why didn't you call me sooner?" I shrug. At first, I thought it would get better, then I got used to it. And then I was ashamed to admit that my own son was treating me like this. "He should be ashamed, not you," Felicity says. "Okay, let's start. How much money do you have?" I tell her. Felicity taps her pen. "It's not enough to buy, but it's enough to rent. I have a few options, small studios in the Eastern District. It's quiet, with older people, good transportation, and the prices are good." She turns her computer and shows me pictures of apartments. Most are tiny but clean. I pick 3 to see. "Can we see them tomorrow?" I ask. "Sure," Felicity says, writing in her planner. "What about a job? You said you wanted a part-time job." "Yes, but I don't know where to start." Felicity thinks. "My sister works at a law firm. They sometimes hire people to transcribe records. With your experience, it would be perfect." I feel grateful. Do you think they would hire me?
I'm sure, Felicity says.
"I'll call my sister tonight. We talk for another hour." Felicity tells me about her life, her grown children, her grandchildren. "How's Tegan?" I ask. "Are you in touch with her?" Tegan is Hayden's sister, who he had a falling out with years ago. I haven't seen her since she left for college 15 years ago. "Yes, we see each other sometimes," Felicity says. She moved back to Richland 3 years ago after her divorce. She works at the Eastern District Library. "In the Eastern District? Where the apartments are?" "That's right," Felicity says. "It's a small neighborhood, so you'll probably see her." I wonder. Tegan was always closer to me than Hayden. She was kind, like her father. Unlike Hayden, who has always been selfish. What happened between them? I ask. "Why did they stop talking?" Felicity pauses. "You don't know?" I shake my head. Hayden never told me. He just said Tegan betrayed the family. Felicity sighs. "It's a long story. Hayden made Tegan sign away her share of your husband's inheritance. He said it was best for the family if the money went to his children's education. Tegan was 18, just starting college. She didn't know what she was doing. And when she realized it, it was too late. They fought, and Hayden banned her from your house." I feel the blood drain from my face. "But Roger left equal shares to both kids. I saw the will." "Yes, but you were so upset after his death that you trusted Hayden with everything. He convinced Tegan to sign the papers while you were grieving," Felicity says gently. I close my eyes. How could I be so blind? "I need to see her," I say. "I need to apologize. She doesn't blame you," Felicity says. "She knows you didn't know. It doesn't matter. I should have been more careful." Felicity writes down Tegan's address and phone number. "Call her. I'm sure she'd be happy to see you." When I get home, I go to my room. I need to think about everything. Hayden cheated not only me, but his sister. And I thought she betrayed the family. This changes everything. I know I can't trust my son. And I need to be careful. I take out my phone and call Tegan. After a few rings, I hear her voice. "Hello? Tegan, it's Winifred, your nom." I hesitate. She sounds surprised. I wasn't expecting that. "I know. Dear, I'm so sorry. I talked to Felicity today, and she told me what happened between you and Hayden." There's a pause. "I didn't want you to find out," Tegan says. "You've been through enough since Dad died." "I'm so sorry," I say again, crying. "I should have known." "It's not your fault," Tegan says softly. "Hayden's always been good at convincing people, and he's your son. You trusted him. Tegan, I'd like to see you, if that's okay." "Of course," she says. "I'd like that very much." "When?" "Maybe tomorrow. I'll be in the Eastern District, looking at apartments." "Apartments? You're moving?" "Yes," I say. "I'm leaving Hayden." "Oh," Tegan says. "Then we definitely need to meet. I have a lot to tell you about your son." We agree to meet at the cafe near the library where Tegan works. As I hang up, I feel relieved. I sit on my bed, looking out the window, and think about how Hayden isn't the man I thought he was, and that our relationship has become a chain. It's time to break it. Meeting Tegan changed everything. We sat at the cafe for almost 3 hours. It was awkward at first, but gradually we started talking. Tegan told me everything she knew about Hayden's job. He's been taking bribes to ignore problems at the drug company. It's not just negligence, Winnie, Tegan said. It's illegal. They're using bad materials and Hayden is covering for them. I remember the papers I saw on his desk. How do you know? I ask. Tegan says, my ex-husband worked at the same company. He told me about it. That's why we divorced. I couldn't stand it. After that meeting, I came home determined. The next day, I looked at the apartments. The third one was perfect. A small studio on the first floor. It was bright, with a window looking out on a courtyard with flowers. It had a small kitchen, a bedroom, and a bathroom. The rent was good. I could live there for at least 6 months. I'll take it, I tell Felicity. Are you sure? Don't you want to see others? No, I say. This one's perfect. We signed the lease. Felicity said I could move in 2 weeks. I need time to get ready. On the bus ride home, I make a list. First, work. Felicity contacted her sister, and I have an interview tomorrow. Second, talk to Hayden's coworker. Third, distance myself from my son's family. I start right away. When I get home, I don't make dinner. I make myself a sandwich and go to my room with a book. Around 7 o'clock, someone knocks on the door. Grandma, it's Min. Are you sick? No, dear, I say. I'm just tired. I thought I'd rest. What about dinner? He sounds confused. I'm sure your mom can handle it. There's plenty of food. There's a pause. Okay, he says. Feel better. I smile. The next morning, I don't get up to make breakfast. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I go downstairs around 8 o'clock, when everyone but Min has left.
He's sitting at the table with cereal on his phone. Good morning, I say, pouring coffee. He looks up, surprised. Grandma, did you oversleep? No, I say. I just decided to sleep in. At my age, rest is important. Oh, Min says, but who's going to make breakfast? I'm sure you can make toast and eggs, I say. You're 20, Min. It's time you learn. He doesn't know what to say and goes back to his phone. I make toast and sit down across from him. Do you have classes today? I ask. Yes, at 11 o'clock, he says. On his phone. Good, then I can take my time. I have an interview at 10 o'clock. He looks up. An interview where? At Burns and Associates. They need someone to transcribe court records. With my experience, it's perfect. Min looks shocked. Are you looking for a job? Sure, I say like it's normal. I'm 65, not 95, I can work. He frowns. Why? Dad makes sure you have everything you need. I hold back a laugh. I want to be independent, Min. I say, that's normal. He shrugs, not understanding but not wanting to argue. After a few minutes, he leaves. I finish my coffee, wash the dishes, and get ready for my interview. I meet Felicity's sister, Audra. The interview is quick. My experience is what they need. They hire me part-time, 3 days a week for 4 hours. The salary is small, but enough to live. When can you start? Audra asks. In 2 weeks, I say. I have some things to take care of. She nods. As I leave, I feel confident. For the first time in years, I'm doing something for myself. The next thing on my list is to talk to Hayden's coworker. Tegan gave me his name. I call him from a payphone. He answers nervously. I say, Mr. Merrick, I'm Winifred Crump, Hayden's mother. He pauses. What do you want? He sounds tense. I need to talk. About Novamed, about the things my son is hiding. He pauses. Not on the phone, he says. Meet me at the Green Lantern Cafe tonight at 4 o'clock. I'll be wearing a blue jacket. He hangs up. I smile. He's afraid of being watched. The Green Lantern Cafe isn't busy. I recognize Lawrence Merrick. He's sitting at a table near the exit. I walk over and sit down. Mr. Merrick? He nods, studying me. Are you really Hayden's mother? Prove it. I show him a picture of me and Hayden outside his house. Merrick looks at the picture and nods. What do you want to know? Anything about the problems at Novamed and my son's part in it. Merrick looks around nervously. Why are you interested? Let's just say I have a problem with my son, I say. And I want to know what's going on. He pauses, then leans in.
Your son is key, he says.
He's supposed to make sure everything is okay, but he's signing false reports. He gets bonuses for it.
The company uses bad materials to save money. How dangerous is that? I ask. For people, Merrick shrugs. So far, nothing serious has happened, but it's a matter of time. Someone will get hurt, and then everyone will be in trouble, including your son. Do you have proof? He looks around again. I have some documents, but I can't be open about this. I have a family. I understand, I say. You don't want to. Risk it. It's not just the risk, he says. If I'm the only one, they'll say I'm a disgruntled employee who was fired. I need something more. I've been thinking. I have copies of some of Hayden's documents, but I'm not sure they're enough. I have to be careful. What if someone made an anonymous complaint to the government to get them to start investigating? Then you and other employees could give information. Merrick thinks about it. It could work, he says. As long as the complaint is specific. I can do that, I say. But I need details, dates, numbers. He hesitates. I can't give you the documents now. It's too risky. Of course. I take out an envelope and give it to him. Here's my new address. I write down the address of the apartment. If you decide to help, send the information. No names. Merrick takes the envelope. I'll think about it, he says. But no promises. We leave. I'm sure he'll contact me. I see the same desire for justice in his eyes that I used to have. When I get home, Taran and Hayden are there.
Pierre
Is tense. Elliot was in trouble at school, and his parents are talking about it. Mom, Hayden says when he sees me. Where have you been all day? Meeting a friend, I say. Felicity, from the courthouse. Oh, Hayden says. But didn't you plan to make dinner? Taran and I thought it would be ready. I smile. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were counting on me. After all, this is your house, not mine. I'm just a guest. Hayden and Taran look at each other. Mom, you're not a guest, Hayden says. Anyway, I'm tired, I say. I think you can make dinner on your own. I'm going to rest. I go to my room, leaving them confused. That's just the start of my plan. Over the next few days, I don't do my usual chores. No cooking, no cleaning, no babysitting Elliot. I always have an excuse. Hayden starts to get annoyed, but he tries to be nice. He remembers the money I gave him. Taran complains to her husband about my behavior. I think it's her age, she says. Or she's upset at Elliot. Maybe she needs a doctor. The thought that my wanting to be independent means I'm losing my mind makes me laugh, but I don't care. Let them think what they want, as long as they don't interfere with my plans. A week. After our talk, Merrick keeps his word. In Felicity's mailbox, I find an envelope with no return address. Inside are copies of documents with Merrick's notes, dates of inspections, lot numbers, names. Hayden's name is on almost everything. I study the documents and write an anonymous letter to the FDA, listing the problems. I send it from another post office. Now all I have to do is wait. 2 days before I move, I decide to meet my new neighbors. Felicity said I need to be social. I go to my new home to get used to it, and maybe meet someone. The apartment is empty but full of sunlight. I'm sitting by the window with tea when I see an older man trimming roses. He's tall with a gray beard and glasses. He looks like he's in his 70s, but he moves easily. I decide to introduce myself. Hello, I say. I'm Winifred, the new resident of apartment 1. I'm moving in 2 days. The man turns and smiles. Corbin Pennell. Apartment 5, second floor. Welcome, Winifred. He shakes my hand. Thank you, I say. It seems very cozy here. It is, Corbin says. It's a quiet house, mostly older people or young workers. No parties. Or family problems. Sounds perfect, I say. Do you live alone? He asks. Yes, I watch him. How long have you been here? Almost 10 years, Corbin says, since I retired. I used to teach history. Oh, I say. I've always loved history. My grandson thinks it's useless. Grandchildren? Corbin smiles. I have 3, and they all think they know more than me, but that will pass. We start talking. Corbin is interesting, well-read, with a good sense of humor. He tells me about the house, the neighbors, the stores. I listen, enjoying the company. If you need help moving, let me know, Corbin says. I'm still strong. Thanks, I say. But I don't have much stuff. I think I can manage. Still, he takes out a card. Here's my number. Call me. I take the card, feeling nervous. I like Corbin, and I think he likes me too. As I walk home, I think about how my new life might be interesting and that I'm not just getting away from my son, but starting a new life, the first sign of trouble at Hayden's. Work comes a week after I move in. I've settled into my apartment. No one at my son's house noticed my books, clothes, and things missing. It shows how invisible I was. I feel free. Working at the law firm is good. I didn't tell Hayden about the apartment or the job. I just left the house more. My son was too worried about his own problems to notice, and his problems started that night. When I get home from work, Hayden is sitting in the kitchen with whiskey. He says, the company's been audited. Someone told them about the problems. Oh, I say, pretending not to know. And there are problems? Of course not, he says. It's the competition. They want to set us up. I nod, saying nothing.
Hayden
takes a drink. If the audit takes a long time, the company could lose money, and I could be blamed. Why you? I ask. Because I'm in charge of quality control, he says. If they find something, they'll blame me. But if there's nothing wrong, then you have nothing to worry about, I say. Hayden looks at me, trying to see if I know something. Yes, of course, he says. Just nerves. Over the next few days, the atmosphere at the house is tense. Hayden comes home late, annoyed. Taran looks worried. Even Min and Elliot are quiet. I pretend nothing is happening. One important step is closing the bank account that Hayden opened for us. My money goes into that account, and Hayden takes money out for family needs. I never minded. But now I need control. I open a new account and move the money there. It's a small amount, about $3,000, but it's my money. 2 days later, Hayden calls me. Mom, did you close the account? Yes, I say. I decided I want to handle my own money. Why now? And why didn't you tell me? Should I have? I say. It's my money, Hayden. Of course, he says. It's just sudden. I was going to take out money to fix the bathroom. He was planning to use my money without asking. I'm sorry, I say. But I'm sure you can figure it out. You both have good jobs, he mumbles and hangs up. I smile. By Friday night, the tension at the house is high. Hayden comes home early, upset. He locks himself in his office with whiskey. Taran arrives, crying. She throws her bag on the couch and goes to the kitchen where I'm making dinner. Is everything okay? I ask. No, Taran says, pouring wine. Hayden is in trouble at work. He's been suspended while they investigate. Oh my God, I say, faking surprise. That's terrible. But I thought he said there were no problems. Taran looks annoyed. Of course he did. It's all a setup. Someone wants to get him. I stay quiet. Taran takes a drink. If he gets fired, we'll have to be careful, she says. Maybe even sell the house. I'm sure it won't come to that, I say, trying to sound nice. Hayden is smart. He'll find a way. He's 50, Winifred, she says. He hasn't been a boy for a long time. A son is always a child to a mother, I say. Taran shakes her head and leaves the kitchen, leaving me alone. I finish making dinner and call everyone to the table. Dinner is quiet. Hayden is picking at his food. Taran is nervous. Min and Elliot look worried. So, I say when the silence is too much. I hear you're having trouble at work, Hayden. My son looks annoyed. Taran told you. Yes, I cut a piece of chicken. She said you've been suspended. Hayden says, this is all a setup. Sure, I say. But, in my job as a court reporter, I've seen people say that before. And often, there was a problem. Hayden freezes. What are you saying? Nothing, I say, just thinking out loud. Mom, his voice is low. Do you know something? About this? I hold Dot. Do you know something about this? I hold his gaze. I know enough, I say gently. Enough to know that this house was never really mine. And that I should have left sooner. His eyes narrow. What did you do? I sip my tea slowly, letting the silence weigh down the room. I did what any mother would do after being taken for granted for too long. I took back my power. That's all you need to know. Hayden rises, pacing. You're ruining everything. No, I say calmly. I'm setting things right. He slams his hand on the table. Do you know what this will do to my career? To this family? I raise my eyebrows. You mean the family that made me feel invisible? The career that thrives on cutting corners and endangering others. Maybe it's time you take responsibility, Hayden. He storms out. I hear the door to his office slam shut. Taryn doesn't say a word. She avoids my eyes. Min and Elliot look stunned. I'm moving out, I say to the table, standing tall. This weekend. Don't worry, I won't be a burden anymore. Min lowers his head. You were never a burden, Grandma. Elliot tries to speak, but the words don't come. I don't need them anymore. 3 months later, the sunlight warms my small apartment as I sip coffee with Corbin on the balcony. I laugh freely now. I work part-time, volunteer at the library, and meet Tegan every Friday. Yesterday, I received a letter an FDA investigation is officially underway. Hayden will face consequences. I feel no guilt. Only relief. For the first time in years, I'm not invisible. I'm free.